represents the metaphysics and what's the nature of being. So how are you being today? And this is Medicine Woman Solution. Medicine Woman Solution. Your soul has the solution to the problems that you have in life. And I'm just curious. I was like, what topic should I talk about? One of them is, can you tell me what makes you mad? Can you tell me what's making you mad? So if you can give me an example of what makes you mad, then I can help you see something else. We'll just kind of help you understand what's at that subconscious level. Because it's important to begin to understand that we carry things in such a deep level. See, deeper, the subconscious mind, what's running the show? How do you function? How do you operate? I think I got my colors off just a little bit. I rearranged my office so that it wasn't so deep, so I got a lot of space. So I shifted it again, which feels a lot better. But at the same time, it's I'm hoping my mic, I can't even get up the YouTube to see whether or not you can hear me okay. So I'm still looking for it. So I know what I'm doing. But just tell me what makes you angry? I'm hoping what makes you angry? What makes you frustrated? What makes you when someone lies? Okay, very good. Anybody else? Anybody else? Again, don't have it up. Spelled July wrong, but I'll fix that later. Remember to hit like and subscribe. That's not going to help. I got the wrong window open. Wonder why. But to understand that when you tell me what are you thinking? So thinking, you've gone inside, you're being your 95%. Your 5% is the part that's woke up. Your 5% is what helps you to acknowledge that there's something greater. Your 5% is to help you understand. Your soul says, let me take a crack at your life and see if we can, and that's crooked. See if we can help you solve your issues. Is that crookedness going to be too bad on Facebook? I don't know. But again, let's look at what you're focusing on. What is your thoughts? What is your 95%? The program self. You've been here before. You've done this. We want to see where you're at. Why? Because your life force, everything is going to it. Hi, you don't like a thief. Okay. So again, do I have a new sign? Did I turn it around? Oh, I rearranged things, yes. So notice, I don't like it. Frustrates me, angers me. So the emotions aren't love, so you're going to drop below 500. And that tells me that you have an experience. And with that experience, you're still losing life force power, which means you keep it alive. You keep it alive. This one's just going to drive me. Which way is the problem, though? Oops, there goes the one. There goes the other. TikTok went for a mad dash of upsetting itself. Why? I don't know. Got it plugged in, so it shouldn't be the issue. We'll see which camera is going to load first. So does this anger me? No. Do I need to have it in my life? No. But what's important to me? So it's important that I'm able to Record. Yes, please resume. The sign didn't have birds on it last time. Very good. Yes. I've changed a few things. It's good that you're able to see it. So it's important that I air on these devices and that they work. And when they don't work, do I have to lose power to them? Our normal reaction is to be angry. So when a thief takes something, you can literally feel that it has crossed your territory, your boundary. It has invaded your space. There's a sense of knowing that I don't like this, and you will focus. So when someone lies, you have built this love of trust, and then they lie. Here's the question. Do they know that you know that they lied? That's important to see. That's important to see. So again, what is it that frustrates you? What don't you like? Because life experiences is that you're having them, right? And you get to explore what's going on. Now, you have different scales of zeros, like no big deal, 10 being holy mother of flying bitch slaps, this is huge, this is bad, this is and that's going to take the majority of your focus. And if you think 41 thoughts per minute, now think about in this minute, give yourself 60 seconds to think about in this minute. So literally, let me see if I was going to build this up earlier and I didn't. I mean, 60 seconds is a long time. Oh, start again. All right, now think. Just sit there. Let your mind drift. Notice what's coming up. Notice your thoughts, and then you take and yeah, I'm gonna write that down. And some of you are like, I'm so frustrated, I can't write it down. But just write it down. So a minute is actually a long time, and yet it's not. But 1 minute, and you think about 41 thoughts, and maybe you're not even aware of half of those. But what if it's on a subject? Can't stop thinking about how they lied to me, or this person stole something from me, or you're restricted physically and you can't move because you've had an accident or surgery or some impairment. You can feel the limitations, you can feel the restrictions, you can feel how it stops you from being. But that 41 thoughts per minute, and if I said to you in this next second, guess what you're going to think? You're going to pause, and you're going to hear a silence. Just, and that's you. That's the operation of your spirit self of going, I'm going to pay attention. This weekend, there was this moment where spirit had said, we're going to pay attention to something. And it's like, I woke up, I'm like, we're going to pay attention to something. Okay, how unique is that? What does that mean? We're going to pay attention. And I'm like, okay, we're going to pay attention to this. And so I'm looking and I'm put, where is it? I know that something's going to happen. Now I had to check. Am I in fear or am I in anticipation with fear or love? Am I, you know, because I'm like, oh, and then how are you going to focus? You're listening and you're like, oh, there's a blank, there's a blank, there's a blank, there's nothing there. Did I miss it? Then fear comes in. So at another point in time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, Spirit says pay attention. And then I heard conscious level. So I fell asleep and it was at that hypnagogic state, that state that's just in between where yeah, that ain't gonna move. I was in that hypnagogic state where you can talk to spirit, where you can listen, where you can hypnotize yourself, where you can not have to believe your own BS, or you can do whatever you need to do. And so here I am. I'm listening to my spirit and I'm hearing. And there was just this like, I'm actively listening to you. I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And one of the things that I heard was, but it was feeling. And now this is where if people are on drugs, DMT or anything else, one of the things they'll say is, oh my God, it was so profound. And it was like, it was so enlightening. It was. And so therefore, yeah, now I've got the answer to life. And then you wake up and come stumbling into this frequency and you're like, oh my God, I don't remember it. Well, I did, but it's the translation that seems to be lacking. And so I said, okay, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. I says, I'm not going to get up and write it down. So just remind me when I'm ready to wake up. So they had me in dream state and they had recalled it. And I remembered we already had this conversation. And so they're saying, okay, remember, so when you wake up. And so I did. Now, the problem is, how do you get it to that great insight to come into an English sense of the words so that it can get that profound impact and effects? And I'm like, okay. Now, there was a question asked, and it was this simple. Did you see how they acted? Yes. Did you see how you acted? Yes. And did you see how you reacted to when they acted? Yes. So the acting is not like an actor. It is that, this is who I am. This is my behavior. This is my temperament. This is my character. This is my meta programs. And I can see them, but you can't always see all of them. Just like you can't really see your eye color or your lips. You can see your nose, but you can't really see your face. So you can see some, but not all. And then you look over and you can see the person and how they're acting or reacting or whatever they're doing. And if you're just looking through the eyes without realizing that you're present, then you're going to be hyper focused on that person and you're going to be feelings. Feelings. Oh, no, TikTok went down on that one. And the feeling state is important to understand. Because a lot of people say, oh, feelings have nothing to do with my health. They don't, they say they're parts. But you are actually compromised by all of these parts. One part affects another part, this other part affects the other part, but it doesn't have to be parts. You can be a whole. You want the wholeness. At least that's what you really want, right? You want the wholeness. So I am my spirit standing out here, for instance. Oh, you don't get it. So I'm out here, my spirit part, my higher self is observing um, my attitudes, my temperament, my thought, my topic, my posture, my gestures, my tone of voice. We can't always hear our tone of voice, especially if we're frustrated and somebody we love don't deserve to be treated or harassed by your tone of voice. But I'm out here and I'm watching myself, and I can see certain things. There's no judgment. It's just discernment. Are you going to be at the healthy level? Are you going to drop? Are you going to, where are you going to be? Now, a lot of people will judge their actions, but not by spirit. They will be their ego self. They'll be their ego self in their frontal lobe. And just a second here. So our frontal lobe creates reality. We, as a spirit being, beams in and we operate through our sensory system, our eyes, our ears, our sixth sense, all of it, and our feelings and all of this. And we work as a whole part. And as we sit there and we think about, oh God, that thief really pisses me off, we're going to be in the lens or looking through the lens of the electromagnetic guiding omni apparition. And we're going to make that thought or that experience more real. And we're going to judge these particular ways of being. But if your ego is in the frontal lobe in charge of creating your reality, you, the AKA program self, you, then you are going to see only thing that you know. And in the filing cabinet, all of your past experiences and everything. So part of waking up is seeing consciousness, not put the word conscious, and then put NESS, consciousness, and understand we're just going to say that spirit. Spirit is made conscious. So consciousness is conscious. Now, well, why would they do that? And it was a question I heard in my head, and while I was in that hypnagogic state, and it was, well, why would they do that? And then spirit turned to me and I said, because they're not aware of their actions. Okay, why would they do that? Because they're not conscious of what they're doing. So again, if you are just your ego self, you're going to be over identifying with matter and you are not going to be creating your reality. And your brain always does the next best guess or hallucinates next best. And as you begin to tap and to heal and to use healing tools, you start to move your higher self. You can stand in this position and you can stand in this position at the same time. You can be in all positioning at the same time. Okay, phone is acting up. And you can be in all these positions at once, but who's doing the looking, who's doing the listening, and who's, and so you're like, oh, okay. So spiritually, I'm aware that I can have a certain tone, I can have a certain gesture, I can have a certain behavior, and it is oh boy. But am I in charge of saying I don't want to act that way? I don't want to. We constantly run around going, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to. No, no, no. And that is important to us, is not to experience that. So then the question becomes, when you have and you're focused, your 41 thoughts, oh, that thief, that liar, that, why is that important to you? To focus on that with your 41 thoughts and those negative feelings, why is that important to you? So then now I want you to fill that out and type it in for me. Why is that important to you? I'm getting the other TikTok ready, so hold on. So when you have this ability When you have this ability, the question becomes, oh, do you know how to use it? What ability is that? The gift of awareness. Spirit has the gift of awareness. And with that gift of awareness, it has the ability to be conscious. Oh my, I'm here. I'm looking at this. I'm conscious of what I'm touching, feeling, and all this. But can you make yourself consciousness that makes you step back as a spirit being and looking from a different perspective, looking through your frontal lobe as your spirit, and to be able to decipher it with your whole self, that spirit and critical thinking? Because when people are just their ego, they can only go left brain, critical thinking, and it's survive, 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 survive. And the emotions control your every move. You with me so far? But if you, as the observer, as ego, you're going to get lost in a thought, lost in a feeling, and fear will come in and start driving it because it's true. It's true. Oh my God, these bad things have happened. It's true. I heard this on the news. It's true. And then it came from this place. It's true. And it's true. And it's true. And then you drive yourself crazy because it bumps up against. You don't want that. You don't want the thief to come in your house. You don't want the liars to lie to you. You don't want the scammers to scam you. Because how are you supposed to survive that? That's very stressful. You hit your limitations. So limitations. And so you have to have these challenges for growth. Okay, so I'm looking through my ego and I have all these challenges. But what do you mean I have to grow? Well, you need to check. Do you feel safe? No. Okay, how do you know that? Measure it. Now tap it out, heal it out, change it out. Because you keep creating with those 41 thoughts per minute and with the emotion as the magnetic that pulls in and thoughts that are electrical, and you're going to keep creating and ordering from the universe more of this stuff, the more of this scamming, this more of this thievery, the more of this lies, the more and the more and the more, and you are saying this is the matrix of life you want. So as I've learned that I don't have to, so consciousness, spirit, okay, consciousness, spirit, is that I'm going to use my gift of awareness and looking at what I'm thinking and realize I am not my thoughts and I'm not my feelings, but they are the gift that I get to use to experience life. Like, what is sex? What is chocolate? So as I am my spirit consciousness, I don't have to keep repeating the same program. I can kick out ego with my tapping, EFT. Oh my God, get the blood back up. And I can put the program out here so I can see it and say, I have a choice point, yes or no to ego. But why? Why would I need to create this experience? Well, to see if I'm going to lose power, see if I'm going to get frustrated, see if, where is it? Like, so I'm not losing myself emotionally to the fact that I need to have to fix this situation, which I haven't fixed yet, which I could fix, but then I'm like, you do things with life. Okay. So it's important to me to have a budget. It's important to me to have finances for the future. And a lot of people run around, don't even know that they're supposed to save up money, a nest egg, whatever. And they're like, yeah, but you need it now. Yeah, but also when you get to my age, which I've leveled up to 58, and age is not about getting older. That's an old belief system. So the ego goes, age is that I'm supposed to wrinkle. Age is I'm supposed to die soon. Age. So notice the hyper focus that on this. We had visited some people, and because of their limited capacity, because when they were born, they had some type of issue and they can only think past like age 13 or can't think past age 13. So they only pick up the things that they see in the environment. And this is what's called life. And so they'll look and they'll look and they'll look. And then what happens is like, I'm monkey see, monkey do. Oh, I'm turning 58. This isn't my belief, but this person I'm supposed to now what? Be sick. So you're looking at the catalog of life. Oh, be hurt. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can't eat certain foods. This is the topics we're talking about. But they're stuck. Now, some people that are not stuck can evolve, can move along, and they will what's called mellowing out. So different areas. Um, so I always seem to get the experience of the fathers and the mothers, where they're peaceful and loving, where the child growing up was, oh my God, my mother was hateful or my dad was abusive or whatever. But I don't get to see that or experience that because I married into that. So I never was there for their youth. So I only get to experience now and based on what they've said about them. And then based on how I've experienced them, then it's like, okay. You with me so far? So as my ego, I'm looking through my face, or I could be going, oh, my fears, insecurity, safety, security, stability, sanity, surrounding space, all of these are compromised. I'm going to be an echo of myself. So my ego, my mask, my personality is going to be here. So my program will be here while I'm way off or disconnected or not connected to my spirit. But the me that's not in charge of making my choices, but says limitation, limitation, fear, 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 limitation, fear, fear, fear. I don't want to do it. I'm afraid of this. I can't stand that. That really scares me. Or it's irrational fears, because that's the only way you get to think that the first 7 years of your life is irrational. And then you pick up everybody else that hasn't, that are still irrational. And all of a sudden you'll be an echo of yourself. You'll be way over here. And the program will be the only thing running. So as you tap, 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 and you heal and success and catch yourself, and you learn to put the ego aside, okay? And you can look at it as a lens, the electromagnetic guiding operation lens, and you put the spirit back into in the position of your forehead, which is the brain, the forebrain, which is about creating reality and execute your life. Then you can look and go, yeah, no, I'm at the choice point of saying yes or no to what I'm viewing. So that means you also can then be looking at people when you're like, yeah, no. And so you catalog of life. So consciousness, aka spirit, is using this gift of awareness to be conscious of when you're living in the present moment, this thing called realism, this real, I can touch it, I can taste it, I can use my spirit, but I don't have to over identify with matter going. And then as soon as I do that, I have to become the ego and I have to snuff or be in fear with my spirit. It's basically tied up, gagged, and in prison. So your thoughts can imprison you, your emotions can imprison you. So EFT and other healings can drop this away so spirit can have its power back. So as consciousness, aka spirit, begins to become conscious, oh, I'm awake, I can see this, and using the gift of awareness without judgment, but in discernment, you're able to go, okay, does this feel aligned to me or not? This may have happened, but does that have to own me? No. So how do people wake up? So we're in this ascension state right now. Okay. And you're going to see, we have been doing this for at least 5-6 years of this moving up and down this vertical energy pole. And so horizontal and vertical. And families have broke apart. People are different. Friends are no longer friends. Just things are shifting. And some of you are woke up and go, I don't want to be treated that way anymore. Now, you have the other part that says, I'm not awake, and that's called awoke. You're supposed to hate that, and you're supposed to, hey, everybody, you're supposed to hate that. Well, one day, when I'm watching a comedy show, I mean, I'm in love with my husband, I love my kids. I had a great life. So if you really wanted to put it on paper, I have a husband, I got 2 great kids, I have a nice home. I feel safe, I feel secure. I feel stable. I didn't feel sane. I didn't feel like I had the freedom, but I thought that was the way life was supposed to be. I had a great life. Okay, that phone is AKA acting up. And this is what we'll do then. So as I'm being my conscious self, aka my spiritual self, as I'm being that, I'm beginning to notice. No, that's not going to work. I'm beginning to notice from the comedy show that we're supposed to throw each other under the bus. We're supposed to call each other out. We're supposed to embarrass each other in front of everybody. And we're supposed to play games. Oh, I want this done. How can I get them to do what I want? And, hey, that's my job. I'm supposed to parent you. I'm supposed to guide you. I'm supposed to aim in life, everything to what I want. Because that's normal. And I was sitting there, that's not normal. I'm conscious enough to use my gift of awareness of that's not love. That's control, that's limitation, that's fear, but I don't want this anymore. So I kept healing. And my first reaction was I'm angry. Now, at the same time, I'm spirit, but I'm also my ego self. And I thought, well, it's not their fault. I have to choose to change this. So I was being gaslit, so I'd be gaslit, and my ego would go, angry. And as my spirit self goes, no, take your power back, because that you saying you want to keep this matrix, this reality alive. And it's like, no, I don't. Well, then stop believing in it. Stop making it important to you. Stop hyper focusing with those emotions that are less than love, because you feel slighted. You can give all of the reasons they hurt my feelings, blah, 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 but you're supposed to be divided, and blame is supposed to occur, and you have to have the enemy. Now, when you start doing spirit, you realize there is no enemy. And when you understand that it's about love, then all of a sudden it's like, why am I participating still in this? Now, this is where your fears are going to come in. Safety, security, stability, standing, surrounding in space, that freedom. Oh my goodness, I don't have the money to take care of myself because I was never taught it, or I was taught to believe that, a woman can't do it, or I was taught, wait a minute, there's beliefs that's creating limitations that says you are stronger than me. So it's like, where am I in the scale? Oh my God, I'm always here. Why? Because it's my reactions. So I said, what does this leveling up do with waking up? Let people say they're waking up. Well, consciously you are. Consciousness, aka spirit, is like I'm consciously using my gift of awareness to say, at the choice point, I don't want this reality anymore. It's not that it's not true and it didn't happen. It's that I'm taking my power off it, because that's not what I want to keep creating and what I want to live. So I take off the emotional charge, which changes the words. Okay. So consciousness is, I used to be one of them. And then all of a sudden I wake up and go, I don't want that anymore. And you'll see this through time. So you will have different levels of beliefs, or it looks like waves, or it looks like this, even though two sides trying to say, no, 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 you have to do this. And so in the political arena, there's always about two sides, hate, hate, hate. But here's the thing, what is waking up? You are waking up, blink, blink, from a program, and you're starting to be your spirit self, blink, 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 and then fall asleep because you're in anger and emotions. And then you heal, and then you wake up, and you keep doing this game. And what you realize is that you're starting to add what? Boom, 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 boom. The heart. I'm starting to add the heart. I'm starting to add what? The feel of love, empathy, compassion, grace, caring. I had this trickster in my life, and it was funny, but they taught me to not trust them. I said, I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, we really can't have a relationship. Because if you're going to do it to this, that means you can do it to anything else. I don't want this. I was so happy to have a friend. And then I find out they were just like a family member. And what got me was that to my face, they loved me. They knew how to mimic love. They would look and say, let me give you love. Let me give you a hug. Let me listen to you. Let me give you gifts. Let me take care of you. But then they would leave me and go and put on a different mask. And then they would say, oh, you don't want to be friends with Brenda because she's this, this, and this, and this. Oh, she's just a taker, blah, blah, blah. She's all of this. Oh, and you should hear her problems, blah, 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 blah. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. Only love me, hate her. And it's like my heart got crushed when, and this is what they refer as two-faced, right? So my ego is going, what the F and K? Right? No, my ego didn't do that. My spirit goes, wait, 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 stop, stop, stop. I'm waking up to this. I'm putting my energy into giving love while they're doing this to me. And I feel with my ego, oh God, that hurts. But at the same time, it's like, why do I keep putting myself there? And so I'm going back and forth until I realize I took the emotion off. And when I did, I was back into spirit. And I was able to stand up to them without my ego, but with a boundary. And I said, I care about you, but I also know that this is who you are. And you say you don't see it, but you obviously, if you look back, you seem to fight, not really have any friends. And if you listen to the story, people are going to say the same story. Do you see the pattern here? And I said, I love you and I want so much to believe in you and to be friends with you, but I can't do it. I'm not going to pay the price. Now, if you did not do this behavior and you did not do this way of surviving, I could see us being friends. But you don't need me. And here's the thing, I don't need you. I want you, but you do not want to care about this relationship. So I don't need this. It was a hard pill for them to swallow. And it was because of all the healing, it was something I was able to say and do. And yeah, there was backlash. They got to run around and go, hate, 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 hate. But because I would not turn around and go, oh, look, and give them my power or stop them or be in revenge state, because my gift of awareness was that's what keeps the story alive by your focus, by your energy. And I'm like, I don't need this. And so I tapped it out and I healed it out and I changed it out and I changed. And consciously, AKA spirit, was I don't have to do that. So my evolution began to say, I'm choosing not to do that behavior to anybody. So now I'm accountable. I'm not going to do this. And when I'd get angry and I want to go tell, no, healing my crap, because I'm not going to sit there and keep this matrix of hell alive, this two-facedness, this having to get revenge, because it's not true. It's emotions. And SP, success, any EFT, and as I take and I balance my brain and my energy, why is my 41 thoughts invested in it? So with your 41 thoughts and you're going, oh my God, it's this. Oh my God, it's this. Notice that you are not this. But your spirit is going, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And you're like, what? And then if your spirit goes, well, where's your 41 thoughts? They're on. And then all of a sudden they're on. Oh shit, they're on. The point is do I want to keep creating that matrix? And so then you take and you can measure that emotion and you tap it out, and you are able to take and level up your consciousness because you became aware, because you became conscious that this, I'm taking my power back. This is what I'm no longer. So who you were before was, I just wanted friendship, and I will do anything, and it means sacrifice myself. I got a great story. Oh my God, I'm always abused, always, always, always. Well, that's the victim mindset. Your mindset said, this is all I can see. This is all I can see. But if you take that out, that gift awareness is, yeah, that shit's happening, but I got the power and the tools to stop it, because every time I go to do and I become this, I miss myself and I'll say, hey, do you want to keep doing it? No. Do you like being in anger? Well, it makes me feel safe. Really? How important is that to you, to be angry and anger makes you sick? Is that important to you to die off early? No, 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 no. I want my health. So then my values start to come in. I value me more than I do this taking offense, being in this space. Do you understand? See how hard it is to put into words? But at the same time, you are waking up. You are making a choice. You have gotten to a point that you're going to not just be on the outsides looking in and being your spirit. I want you to become more your spirit. And don't be just an echo of yourself. Don't be an echo of yourself. I want you to go, stop. I want my spirit to be in charge of my reality, not the ego. I want to be able to look at that, because that's actually a lens that I can look through, and that I can choose to put my life force into the negative or the positive, the nocebo or placebo. So you can look through time where some people have opened up their heart. They look at the person. Hi, how are you? And they're like, hi, how are you? Before all the definitions of, and the boy in the striped pajamas in the movie, he's looking at this other little boy, and he doesn't understand where all of this has been created. He sees a soul, a human, and he wants to play. He wants to love. He doesn't see the differences. Hey, you have to hate them because of this, this, and this, and this. And when you get older and somebody's spouting at you that they are very limited, and you are waking up going, but I don't want that. Your consciousness is that you're waking up because you're using your heart and you're saying, I had an experience. And I can't remember the name of the movie, but I think it's got Colin Firth in it, and it was I think it was um, the movie was where they was at war, and I can't remember which war it was. Um, um, and years later, he gets to meet his um, the people that were. No, that wasn't Operation Mincemeat, because that one's good too, but that's not it. It was a torture camp. So I can't remember which fight we were in. Yeah, it might be this one. Hold on. Years later, Railway Man. That's it. The torture depicted included beatings, food starvation, waterboarding, all of these things. And then over time, age, they get older, and he goes back to the place, and he ended up meeting the man that was the torturer. And because they could find common ground with the open heart of love, they were able to forgive each other. Not sit there and hold it and say, I've got something to do. I want revenge. And there was this opening of a heartfelt moment That when you look at each other, you see the soul and you see love. You have a moment. You got to make the decision if that's what you want to continue to do, is to constantly see. So that moment when I started to wake up, it was, I no longer wanted to see my loved one gaslight me anymore. It was okay. That's just who they were. But I no longer wanted to play. I no longer wanted to participate in that. I no longer cared. They were no longer important to me. Being treated that way was no longer important to me. Why was it important in the first place? Because it was what I knew. It was what I saw. It was what was being. But my spirit and I woke up. My spirit's going, hey, and I'm like, yes, I no longer, because my heart, I loved them, but I didn't have to be abused, but I loved myself. And I realized that's them, but that's not me anymore. And I grew from, I don't need to receive it. I don't need to be that. I don't need to treat others that way. I don't have to believe this. I don't have to have fear. I don't, no. And so I healed out my responses, my reactions, my beliefs. I healed out that I didn't have, and that day, every day, the screaming, the hollering, and the convincing, and the badgering, the duressing, I'm going insane. But because I kept healing, then all of a sudden it was bam, I did it. And it's that did it moment that it's like, I know I did it. And it's so profound. I did it. And all of a sudden, there they are. They're still being the nasty ass ego self, blah, 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 blah. But I couldn't feel that. I didn't go numb and I didn't cut it off. I didn't suppress. It was all of a sudden, you're not important to me. This is no longer worth fighting for. It wasn't that I had to fight back. It was, that's not my reality. And they knew it because all of a sudden they were powerless and they were melting. They were just like, they couldn't fight anymore. They couldn't do in the dress because they knew that the energy had shifted. And it was like, wow, I'm free. No matter how much they abused, no matter how much they cried, no matter how much they swore, no matter how much they insulted, no matter how much I couldn't get an emotional reaction. Not because I was numb, it was because I was done. So before Alan and I got together, we had to finish out and create closures to our lives. I had to do my part, he had to do his part. We didn't talk for a year and a half. We just was whatever. And I said, no, you got to do you, and you got to decide what you want to do. And so all I could do was hold space that he was healing. And so I did the same thing. And so I began to heal and I began to heal. And as I did that, one day I'm laying in bed. I wake up, like, oh my God, he did it. And it was the same feeling. And so I'm running around going, oh my God, he did it. And I thought, all right. So I called. And he says, yes, I did shift. And then universe rearranged itself, and here I am today. It happened again with a friend, and it happened again with another person. Because you choose something greater than the pain and the suffering. That's growth. But you include love. Your heart opens up and you're no longer going to play the game. Anybody get anything out of this? I see some people talking and I can't move my screen. Let's see. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Anyway. Well, Devin, it's good to have you here. So you can get caught up in life. You can get caught up in all the programs, or you can go and make a choice as your spirit self of what it is you focus on and where you would like to put your life force. Did anybody get anything out of this? Because you can learn to miss yourself and then heal and get back. You can learn to look at where you were and who you are now, and you can see your growth, and without any shame, without any regret, because there will be people that will grow with you, and then there will be people that will not, and that's okay. Because when you just line up and the universe rearranges itself because you have put yourself in the state of love, you've put yourself back into your 5% is who's in charge. My 95% of the programs and that run my forehead, no, I've healed it out, tapped, healed, to the point where I am my 5%, aka my consciousness, and I'm able to operate this physical being as Brenda. And my soul is like, yeah, let's keep healing this. Yeah, let's keep. Because you know there's no reason that you need to go back to that. You don't have to keep repeating what you learned when you came in, and you get to pass soul markers, and growth really occurs. So when you look at something and you're like, what makes me frustrated? And you say it's that, you can say, why is that important to me? And if you start thinking that you're in the act of revenge, then you are pulling yourself farther away from your 5% spiritual self. And you're saying, I choose to be this program, and I'm going to hate life. I'm going to fight. I'm going to have an enemy. But if you keep tapping and you keep healing and you keep putting in the tribal basics, connecting your spirit, being in your fixed state. Now I can say I'm 58. I've leveled up to 58 and I'm Brenda Jean Power. And I can put myself back into this state right now instead of having to be my littles or having to be my shadows or having to. That is no longer important to me. So when somebody slights me, or I see a friend slighted, there'll be the first ring, second ring, third ring, fourth ring. And I'll look and I'm like, why? What part do I still see is an aspect that says I have to keep creating this way? So like when I saw a friend go into fear, it was I needed to look at how I respond when they go in there. So I have to learn about friendship, socialism, socializing again. So it was awkward because it was like, I don't know how to do this now that I'm a spirit being. So I stood there and I was watching a show, and one of the shows was he's like, why are they always happy? Why can't they just get angry like we do? And I'm thinking, oh, when a person is in their negative state, they just want me to hear them, be there for them, and they want me to not come up with happiness or resolving. Okay, fine. So I'm like, okay, God, that sucks, doesn't it? And it's not that I'm enabling this, but I'm listening to them. I give them that space because I know when I'm angry or I'm in some type of live moment that I need to process, I got to feel those feelings. I got to watch my actions. I am being accountable and seeing what my spirit, bringing to conscious what was unconscious and taking my power back. When I look out and I see the world divided, it's like, what do I need to heal? And it's like, well, this is the communication. This is how we call talk. This is how we're all supposed to socialize. And it's like, no. So I was watching somebody go through something and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like standing back going, there's nothing I can do. But that's not true. My activism part of me can go, I'm going to hold space for them. And even in the 11th hour, everything I've learned for all these years, even in the 11th hour, they're over there spouting, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh my God, it's really written in stone in the world. Oh my God. And then as I began to hold space and I see that's whole, and line them up and I hold that energy, and then I tap out any fear I may have, or tap out anything that has to do with that I predict that they're going to be in this fear. And as I began to do this, then all of a sudden I let the universe, and if this person's supposed to grow with you, all of a sudden they'll come around to be in this alignment that's greater than where they just were. And then when you don't talk about it, but they all of a sudden they want to talk about it, and they're like, okay, give me a point to heal. And I'll say, okay, here's a point. And they go to heal, and all of a sudden as they're, oh wow. And then all of a sudden they have these epiphanies and these insights. And they're like, well, I've seen this and this and this and that and before, but I don't have to really. Correct. They're starting to rewrite their matrix now. Now you have to witness when you're in that healthy state. And when you do, you can then watch how all of a sudden as your spirit self and a live experience of something negative comes up, you can go, stop, I'm going to measure that. It's a 10 and I'm going to tap it out. And all of a sudden this definition, this meaning, you gave meaning to it, starts to fade, and then the blood and comes back up. You're not in stress mode, and you don't have to be in fear, because fear says, oh, but it's so believable. You can change this. Healing Heart says, I have been learning how I can rely on myself even when I'm limited in movement in my arm for a while. It doesn't have to control me. Very good. Thank you. Very good. Yes, thank you for sharing. Hi, Weeping Willow. Hi. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for caring and watching this movement grow. As you wake up, the rest of the world's going to wake up, and we can hold in this support with one another. And if you like today's show, come on over and subscribe to Medicine Woman Soultion. Even if you never come on again, help support this content. Subscribing helps me get out there to help the world, and I think we're ready. I think we are ready. And if I've never given you a reading before, I can give you a free reading. I'm looking here. But before I do this, people have paid. And so I'm going to bring my somebody that paid, so they have an expedite. And then, but if you hang in there, you can have all of these free readings, because I've never given you one before. Okay. I'm looking. There was something that caught my eye, and it could have been my phone died and I didn't do it. Yeah, I don't see it now. I swear somebody wrote something on TikTok. I don't see that. They're probably. Oh, wow. So you called out the liar, but they didn't register that they were caught. Yeah, I've been in that situation as well. And you're like, oh, they have no clue. And but they were fine with it. And again, they don't, that's important to them, that's their identity, their characteristic. I don't know. It was here a second ago. I know I don't see it at all. Okay, so is Miss April Lynn around? I have to make sure that she is. Then if she's not, then I can give somebody a free reading while I wait for her to come on. So let me get my I keep forgetting to turn it on. It's supposed to come on automatically. My transcripts, no, not transcripts, my other one. And for some reason, they must have switched it off because it hasn't been working. All right, well, anyways, I'm going to do this. It's so funny. I'm talking to people, and I didn't realize I have a couple cousins that have the birthday right around mine. I had my mother's that's coming up. I had my daughter's. I have a bunch of friends, people on Tribal, and I'm like, wow, right? The last 2 weeks are like jam-packed. People that are leveling up, and I think that's awesome. So anyways, we will see if she is ready. So I don't see her yet. So that means that I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anybody that wants that free reading. It was some, well, Davin, you wrote something, but some light worker wrote something. We can also learn from each other. Yes, it is. Yes. And the thing is, we help walk each other home. Oh, okay. So if anybody's here that's never, I've never read you before, I can give you a free reading while we're waiting for my guest to come on. My guest is April Lynn, and she has paid $25 to be on the video, and but we're going to wait until she arrives. So, and if there's anybody here, just say yes, a free reading. But if you want to, and I've read you before, and you want one, you can go 5, 15, or 25. That's up to you. Let's see. Again, if there's anybody here, I'm looking around. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're getting your computer ready. Okay, so she's Miss April Lynn is present, but we have to wait until her computers and everything are running. And when I teach you so much, you notice that your growth, because you can give people information, but if they can't walk it, talk it, live it, breathe it, dream it, and imagine it with spirit, then they'll never get out of their ego program. You have to have your programs, otherwise you wouldn't be able to operate this meat suit or this biochemical suit. It won't know about whether it should eat or to pee or to sleep, and it needs that. But the programs of driving a car, writing a pen, you need these, like learning a new language. But there are some programs that you need to redefine, give it different meaning, and outgrow what the old history told us that it was supposed to be. Okay. So I was rearranging everything in my office, and one of the things that came up was all my cards. All my cards were distributed. It's like, hey, what a mess. What a mess. And so it was like, well, what do I want to do? I read cards, but I don't read cards, but yet I do read cards. And then like, okay, that's a mess in itself. Like I've got like tons of cards. I mean, now I got all those cards there. And I was like, okay, so if I look, I've changed so much since started healing. Good. And keep doing it. So for Vicky, they said you got hidden motives. And so the first thing I keep hearing is that is there some behavior that you were taught from the world that you're supposed to have hidden motives? Not don't let people know. Some of them are okay, some of them are not, but that's not where I'm going with this as much as hidden motive. I want to be spiritual. Why? And then don't hide it from people. Some people may not think what you're doing is correct because they can't think that way. But at the same time, be okay to say, this is who I am. Be okay. I don't have to be afraid. Okay, love the background. Thank you. Thank you. So for Weeping Willow, oops, the card I got is that travel. The question is that it came upside down. So do you want to travel, not travel? There's a conflict going on here. And it's not always about, oh, don't travel because of fear. We're not using fear. It is something to do with the getting to beyond who you are and to getting experience. Travels give you that particular experience. Oops, did that work? Let me look. Not yet. Okay. So kind of think about it. Does that mean like I don't like walking, or I don't like to go to work, or I don't like to have to get from point A to point B? We can do the simple thoughts. Or go, I don't like doing traditions and all of these things. So it's not always what we think it is. Oh, they did? Oh, hi, there it is. Yes. Marie, if I ever give you a reading, because I can give you a reading the way I do them and it helps you heal, you can use healing, or I can give you just a card. Choose what, if I've never given you a reading before, I will give you a free one. Otherwise, you know, I can just get you a card. I'm not just a card person, but we can do that. So I'll just say, Marie, what I've got was that it says great gratitude. Now I'm going to give you this card, but if I've never read you before and you want a reading, I'll give you a full reading, a mini read. But great gratitude, it's in reverse. So what's been irking you to the point where you're not able to hold that gratitude? I feel like it is the out environment, whether it's TV or somebody, or you're taking care of somebody, but this environment, and they don't have that gratitude, and you can get pulled down into that reality, and it can take you out of your happy space. Okay. So the question is that do you get influenced by other people's emotions, belief systems, and to the point where you have to go there and not really be yourself? So you can hold gratitude, you can do gratitude, but the people that you're around is going to yank you back into their reality, their emotions, this is what's going on in the world, instead of you lining up to your heart's desire. Miss April Lynn is now ready, so I'm going to go over to let her in the room. So our first guest is here. And there we go. Here she comes. Somebody asked me, what is this? These are, I had a picture, I had a meme, so these were but it's a deck of cards. And I used to play, I can't remember what the name of the game was. But these were my deck of cards, so that's my eyeball. And so I'm peeking around the corner. Hi, my love. How are you? Got to get the volume going. I rearranged everything. Yay! Okay, good. See, I moved everything, so I just pivoted all of it, and I never really checked the volume properly. Happy early birthday, because it's your birthday here in Australia, and tomorrow is your real birthday, as far as wherever you're at. So happy early birthday, or happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Eve. Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. But you're leveling up. You're allowing yourself to be something more than what you were before. And it's great to become the age that we are, because a lot of people don't get a chance to make it. And I'm happy to be alive. How are you feeling?
I'm wonderful. I'm,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. How can I help you? You said whatever spirit wants, but I feel like in a way there is something that could be on your mind.
I don't know. I guess just kind of like an update because I keep having the little gem pops, the little things going, okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, go through this experience. Okay, that makes sense. But it's like, job hunting and everything. And
So
I
let's
apply.
job hunting. So
Yeah,
all these opportunities, you get a lot of them, and then all of a sudden they just don't pan out the way that you would like them. And it's not
right.
that you're controlling it; it's just you're like, spirit, come on, man. So I'm going to ask, because that is something that you want. Is you wanted a steady job, you wanted something that had insurance, you want these things, and they're available, but at the same time, for some reason or another, it doesn't pan out. And say, okay, spirit, is this just a pattern? And they go, it's what resonates with you. And so there are some that resonates, and yet they don't give you a call back. Or there's some that resonate and you're not quite, so there's always this misalignment. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll ask spirit, so why is it then that it's not in this equal alignment so she can have it? And they go, she needs to self-regulate. And I go, self-regulate what? And they said the inner vibration. I says, what do you mean? Now they're coming and they're showing me that, one, your heart is, there's a certain amount of stuff that you experience throughout your whole life. You already know what I'm talking about.
Well, so that's one of the things I realized because, okay, so I set my mindset that I'm going to go and do a job interview. Well, when you do a job interview, a lot of times you're under judgment. Am I going to be good enough? Am I going to be smart enough? Are they going to pick me? Am I going to be the one? Right? So then
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, I changed my mindset. I'm going to go investigate and find out new information, find
Okay.
out all what they offer and just investigate. And boom, I had 5 interviews in 2 days.
But
And
yet,
I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many overwhelming opportunities. If this one doesn't work out, I'll take that one. If that one doesn't work, but in between, oh, the clock says 11:11. But in between, my mindset changed and I was like, oh, that job is $4 or $5 more an hour than I'm making right now. So that job is going to be the answer to all my problems. I have
okay,
to have that job. Oh my gosh, I got that job. Manifesting, I got that job. I already got that job. But they
okay,
didn't call me. Why didn't they call me? Wait, I got that job. Just be patient. I got that job. I already know I got that job. So then I chased it away. And then I'm like, wait a minute. But then I realized I had changed my mindset from investigating to I have to have that.
okay. So you can't have what you want?
No, that was a strong no, and it was my mother's voice. No.
And I'll ask, is that true? And they go, yes, because you have to live a certain way. So let me just investigate a little bit more. So even though you have your mindset and you've got you're investigating, yeah, yeah, you're great, and you started to manifest, and then when you got your heart set on it, you got your hopes up, okay, got my hopes up, and then it failed. Not because she didn't hold that space. She did say something interesting. I chased it away. So we always are constantly doing a towards and away from, or towards and away. However we do it, we're doing something with energy. And I said, okay, so was there a program inside about her mother that would cause this? And they go, well, look at it this way. You have to display yourself as your mother, that it failed. So let's go back at this. Did your mother want something and then it got her hopes up and it failed?
Um, Not sure on that, but I remembering my mother tell me that, like, if I'd say, can we go to the park? Can we go to the park today? Or can we go to the Dairy Queen today? She'd say, well, I'm not going to tell you yes because you get your hopes up so much and then you're so crushed when it doesn't work out.
All right. So the question is that did your mother's fears and insecurity crush you? Did it get to the point where majority of the time you never got to do what you wanted, what you guys
Yeah.
had set out to do
Don't,
because of insecurities?
yeah, you don't think about the future. Like when I grew up and went to school, I never thought about going to college because there was never no money. Oh,
Right.
well, just don't think about that because there's no way.
Okay. So you've learned a lot of different social skills within yourself about, yes, I'm going to look at the future. Yes, I am. So your mother then says, well, don't do that. Don't do that because we just don't have it. Now, this frequency then becomes to the point where, okay, fine, I will keep myself down. But this is what I'm looking at. This feels like more of an epigenetic thing, meaning whatever she experienced as a child, you have experienced or without realizing that you're experiencing it. So I asked more, and it has to do with this. The very first thing I wrote down was hate and vulnerability. I hate to be vulnerable. So I asked that in the heart. I said, so you really hate being vulnerable? And then I got a very strong, resounding yes. And I said, is this April's? And they said, yes, because this was a past life marker as well as your epigenetics of your mother's. And I said, so when did that first marker happen? And they said, about 1 week out of the womb. So you were born, you're about a week old, and you then felt what? And then Spirit says, I felt this hate, I felt this vulnerability. And because I felt those, and I didn't pass my test, my soul marker test. Okay, so now I have to feel this particular, I'm going to be vulnerable. I don't want to be vulnerable, but I hate this. I hate this life part thing.
Mhm.
And so when you moved from being the investigator and then moved into, yeah, I got it, what happens is it went into that I hate this part. Do you understand what I mean by the strong word they're using, the word hate? I would never associate that with you. But again, this is a soul that says, I've recorded this on my adventures. Then we created a mama that actually is going to have this feel so that I can see if I can pass my test. Because I did a lot of work when I'm my other personality. And then it's like, oh, man. So I said, what is it that you need to see that you're not seeing? And how that part of your heart is saying, this thing is real. It's real. And it's always happens. It's real. Now understand, this real is not true. It's like when you start to believe, and now I don't know where you are, and this is not supposed to be a political thing, but this is going to help you understand something. So I'm looking, and I used to believe this one way because my husband did this and all that. And then all of a sudden, it was I woke up. Well, why do I have to believe in revenge? Why do I have to believe in anger? Why would I have to believe that this really happened? And then I go and I do some investigating and find out none of it's true. It's a bunch of lies. It's a propaganda. It's all of this. I go, well, why do I have to do that? And I don't. Then all of a sudden I became the enemy to those that I used to see that way. I don't. So we've got to get you from this is the way the world says you're supposed to see it. And now we have to get you to, but I don't have to. But it feels so effing real. Fear, the experience, all of it says it's real. So we have to look at that real. And I said, so how real is this feeling? And it's a 10. And I said, okay. And I said, particular feeling this is, it has to do the fact that she has to get to that point where she's like, God, I hate this. Okay, so think about, and you were in your last marriage and the constant gaslighting, that form of abuse, all of that. How much did you hate being, oh, woke up, here I am. And let me back this up. Maybe that's why I had the particular dream. So I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, I just can't stand that man. And the waking up every day to the hell of that gaslighting. And then when I woke up, it was like, okay, I'm in Australia. This is a good start. I mean, I've had this fuming hate, right? That I don't want to be there, but I have no choice, right? And I'm walking out and I thought, oh God. And then all of a sudden I hear this Australian voice. And I'm like, oh, so far so good. I thought if I open that door and see it, that's my ex, I'm just gonna scream because I'm in hell. I opened the door. There's my lovely, handsome husband smiling. I'm like, oh my God. So I went over and poked him, and he's like, what's up? I said, you're real. That's good. That's good. Let me pinch myself. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. But my whole body was like, I cannot go through that again. I mean, it was enough's enough, but I couldn't. I was trapped in this. And so, of course, I did some healing because I don't want that in my body. But at the same time, does that help you understand what I mean by a feeling, the sensation that, can't do it again?
Yeah, so right now, right this minute, so I applied for this job. I was like, uh, I don't know if I want to work at the department store, but I just went ahead and applied. 2 days later, they called me in for an interview. So I went in because I'm like, okay, the other ones I went in, like, he probably felt that, oh, well, she's kind of wishy-washy. I'm not sure if she wants to work here or not, because that's what I felt like my energy was. And then, so I was just like, he was like, well, you get 1 weekend off a month. And I said, well, I have a question. Do you, and basically I was asking if it's acceptable to work every other weekend because my husband works third shift and he has Fridays and Saturdays off. Okay. So you already said I get 1 weekend off. So it's 2 more days a month and one more Friday and one more Saturday, right? And, just asking. Um, and he's like, well, let me do. Yeah, yeah, I think I can make this work. Okay, well, go home. You got to go online and fill out your application at the store. Okay, so I did that. Okay. 2 days later, the recruiter lady texts me back on the job board and says, "Oh, well, two other individuals came in and they have better availability than you do. So we're going with them.
Okay.
Good luck in your job search." And when I went, I was like, I don't know if I really want it. But then when I was at the mall, I was kind of like, I'm excited. I think I want this. It'll be something that'll be totally different. So then at first I didn't want it, and then I wanted it, and then as soon as I wanted it, I got the notice that I was not chosen.
Okay. So what I heard was that when inside I want and excited, accepted, then I lose it. Okay. And so you've gotten over the stage of, okay, I can get my hopes up. Sure. But now I'm still seeing this pattern of rejection, this pattern of, and again, it's like when I had, so through this birthday, I had said, I don't really know if I want to celebrate it because when I get too excited, I physically get hurt. And it had dawned on me that because my brother he gave me a present on my birthday. He had to leave. He couldn't stay for cake, and I said I'd save him a piece. He went off and he got in a car accident and then died the next day. Now I'm in a whirlwind because now I can't be around my family because I was given to somebody else to be taken care of, and I can't tell you the length of that time, but it was more than a day. And I just felt like I didn't have a family anymore. And so throughout all the years, I have done healing. But then it was like when I got and broke my fingers, when I fell and ruined my girdle on my birthday, these are two different events. And all of a sudden, it was like, I'm too excited. This is what we noticed, me and my husband. When I get too excited, it's like my brain does something and I stumble. I can't walk or I'm something. And it's just, and it'll be like my one foot will get really heavy instead of lift up like it's supposed to. And so I stumble over my feet. And my mother would always say I'm accident prone. She'd say I'm always clumsy. And so you have all of these belief systems about who you are. Well, this time it was, I don't want to be left alone. Well, my husband couldn't really do something with me, so I was left alone. And then I had to do something alone, but I was perfectly safe. But there was a part of me that had this unconscious program that says, don't get too happy. I'm like,
That goes back to
really?
that regular thing. Uh-oh, waiting for the shoe to drop because this is happy, this is happy.
Okay. So, so if I look waiting for the other shoe to drop, you're actually a four, and it's connected to a bigger unconscious program. And because it's your birthday, I'm going to give you an extra present here.
Oh, thank
Nine.
you.
um, well, we basically our birthday's almost the same day, and we're the same age, right?
5 days apart. Yay!
Yeah. Um, Okay, so this is connected to several unconscious programs, and so, but it has to do with that scalar field in relationships. So it's not just personal; it's when you have to do the social thing, or when it's this. So they will want you, but then as soon as you want it, they then reject you. And as I looked, I said, why is that? And they said, well, this has to do with that you have to put on a mask. And I said, you have to hide? And they said, yes. And I said, well, what age is hiding? My 3-year-old self is hiding. I said, so is it shyness? And it says, yes. And I said, so once they want you, you have to put in, and I said, is this to do with safety? No, it has to do with security. So there's a party that feels this really insecure about yourself and how they're going to judge your actions. Okay. And I said, okay. I says, is it action about the job? They says, No, it has a lot to do with this. They're telling me it's a firm belief that I have towards myself that this is why they don't like me.
Repeat that again.
Ah, so maybe the ego. Okay.
Well,
Let's see
it's
if
kind
we
of
can
like I
change.
heard it, but then I was like, wait, what did she just say? So it was like I zoned out.
Right, because the ego don't want to hear this. See, this is good. Let's see if we can get the breakthrough again. Towards yourself,
Okay, towards
right?
myself.
So as soon as you're like, oh, they want me, it's like I feel very insecure. Your shyness kicks in, and then all of a sudden, you they and I put down they don't, and I didn't finish the sentence. Who heard what I said to help break this open? Because if she's not ready for it now, they would have recalled it. But thank God it's recorded. So let's just see if who was paying attention and
I'm
is
gonna
his.
write down the time on the clock.
Oh, very good, very good, very good. Because see, this is her spirit self is saying, "I'm going to crack this egg." Your ego is saying,
Yeah,
mm.
I got goosebumps going down my arms and my leg. Like, wait, this is a piece that I need.
Very good, very good. See, I didn't even turn on the transcripts. So again, because nobody's responding really, it's because again, we can't cross that line, but they don't want. So as soon as I know they want me and I'm ready to go, I have such great insecurity that all of a sudden I want it. They don't want
And
me.
I think what it is because, okay, so I got wrong information at the hotel. So I still have my insurance because they had me calculate the hours different than how they calculated them. So they gave me wrong information. So I stressed over the last 3 months of that. But anyway, then um so I have that. So then my other thing is, okay, well, if you're going to offer me this money and then I'm going to get insurance and then I got to give my notice and then it's that transitional phase.
Okay.
Okay, I got to do this and then I got to change my whole because I get up at 3:30 in the morning, right? So we're talking about going to a job that's more like 11 to 8 instead of 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning till noon.
Right.
So it's a whole different.
Okay. So that is the thing. Okay. So now there's parts. I asked if this has to do with parts, and they said yes. So you got one party that's ready to move forward to have something more. And then you have this part here. Okay, so let's say I had an impending outcome of, let's say, let's say I was in an accident and I was suing somebody, and that final verdict from the judge hasn't come in yet. So I had this client, well, I had several, but this one client comes in mind, and they were in a major, I think it was a 52 car pileup. It was slippery and it was everything. So the first set of 12 cars and then more cars finished. And it just was, I mean, the horrificness of what they experienced, but their body, they were doing everything they could. And so here it is 10 years down the road and it still wasn't settled. But they're like, but I'm done being sick. I'm done doing this. And then as we got to the point where they're ready to heal something, all of a sudden they go, I can't. And I said, wait a minute, what'd you just say? I can't. I go, why? Because I have to still remain sick so they can prove that I should deserve the money in that case. And I said, oh, yeah, we can't cross that until you get this settled, finalized. And so this is what I feel. You know that there's something that's controlling the situation. Okay. And because of that, you cannot really take another job or you can't really do certain things because it's hanging out there. Does that make sense?
Hmm. And
So
I'd
I,
said to myself for a while that I feel like I just need to quit and then I will find something.
okay, but here's the thing. I know it has to do with, hold on, I'm going to see if you can see this. Oops, did you see it? So is that your outstanding?
Oh, um, yes, but I figured out that I can make payments if I'm not there.
Okay, let me see how strong you are about that. Yes, and that is a 4 out of 100. Okay, but it's not enough. So this will stop you from actually getting. So there's this unconscious program,
Okay.
and that it has a lot to do with you're gaslighting yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of see where you may be gaslighting. Oops, that's gonna die soon. So you have to recharge because right now a lot of what you're doing is changing the way. Hold on, this isn't gonna work. You're changing the way you're thinking and feeling, but you're still gaslighting yourself. It's the when you have a feeling. Oops, when you have a particular feeling. What particular feeling is she feeling that causes this? Guilt. Because there's a particular fight you'll have over and over, and I think it's to do with money, something about money, guilt. There's some type of guilt. There's some type of, um, I got to be accountable. I've got to
It
do this.
it probably goes back to just growing up. This your situation is what it is, and there that money is just not there.
Gotcha. Notice that it's not there, but okay, with your current husband, with your current situation, is there a particular communication about money that makes you feel uneasy, or you're going to feel like you failed, or you've got to keep doing, be accountable? Do you understand? There's something there that's causing you to think that, oh no, if I didn't work here and I didn't have that insurance and I don't have that money, then something's going to occur again. Because what I'm hearing is that there's a part of you that has afraid of this shame because it's about how your
Well,
communication with this person or even with your mother keeps repeating. It keeps repeating. So it's keeping around the homestead. It is how you keep that issue alive. Does that make sense?
yes and no.
Okay. I think it's connected to that they don't want. So if you were to say, okay, they accept me for who I am, and I start doing the same behavior, and now they're not accepting me, um,
Okay, talk again. Your voice just went no volume. Yeah, there's no, but you can hear me. Okay, so when you said they don't want, and when we were talking about how I feel with my ex, um, i- that's what I always thought. Why doesn't he see me? Why doesn't he want me?
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's when they don't. We know that's the key word. They don't. It's they don't. As soon as they don't want you to do something, or they don't want you, or they don't want it, all of a sudden, or they do want you, but they don't want you. Okay, they want you, but they don't want. So we know that's the key. You can't hear. Your ego's going, what? No. So we just had this example again, and I know you keep losing power to it because all of a sudden it's like my all my phones are like going, "Ah, we're running out of battery." And
Yeah, because when that recruiter had sent me that message, my ego went ahead and typed, I only asked if it was acceptable to have an extra weekend off.
so notice the attitude when you got rejected. Well, I only asked. So you have
Right. And
so
then
I'm
it's
looking
like, but now I'm like, because I'm looking at myself going, well, you didn't really want it in the first place. So, but you just went for the experience of it.
right,
But
but
then
here's
it was going
the
to
thing.
be $3 more an hour than what I thought it was.
Right. So let's forget about all of that. Your second chakra says, okay, fine, I'll take it. And all of a sudden you get rejected. They don't want. And I said, they don't want you. In the relationship, they don't want. As soon as you finally accept, this is my fate, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing. It is in that when I finally accept, there's a hatred there. Okay, I'm going to go back to that word. I don't like feeling vulnerable. And so you keep investing in this hatred of feeling vulnerable that it, and when I look, it's 100%. And we keep dancing around. This is definitely epigenetic. This definitely is the soul. So you keep going through this, and it is, I hate feeling vulnerable. So now you need to ask, have you felt vulnerable when you have to wait for them to make the decision?
I guess so.
So why is that important to you?
Why is what important to
That
me?
you hate feeling vulnerable, that you hate this part of the process. It's important to you because you won't let it go. It's important to you to keep holding on that I hate feeling vulnerable. I have invested a lot of energy and I don't like, no more vulnerability.
The only thing I can think of is people just they don't talk and say what they want or what they mean. There's
Okay.
always hidden
Right. Now notice you're
agendas
pointing. Notice
underneath.
you're pointing. Notice you're pointing. So
Well, I'm
why do you
trying
need to
to
keep,
think
right, hold on.
how I'm feeling,
Right. So
right?
it's important to you never to experience this again. It's important to you. And so you holding on to it so it won't happen again. This is what fear does. I have to hold on to the
Interesting.
negative experience so that it won't happen again. And I'm going to be thrown off or come out of left field. I know that they're going to do this. Listen to how fear talks.
Mm-hmm.
So fear's saying, I've had this experience. It's going to happen again. I don't want to be thrown off guard. So I'm going to prepare myself so I don't have to feel that extreme of vulnerable. Okay. So you're going to keep holding this, keep doing the same matrix over and over. There's a certain amount of, I hate this, but I have to go through it. So now look that it makes these two feelings. I'm vulnerable, but I hate this vulnerability. And it's important to you to keep doing this so that it doesn't happen again. This is in your social skills. This is in your second chakra. If I'm going to relate to people, so you have a deep program that says this is an always. So if I said to you, you're supposed to heal the hate, and they go, not necessarily. It is how you feel vulnerable. But I don't want to heal the complete vulnerability. And I said, why? Because towards myself, I feel deficient. And so I feel insecure. And so your 3-year-old says, yes, I feel shy. I feel insecure. And I hate this. I don't want to. And when you're pushed into it, okay, like people that have white coat syndrome. Do you know what that is?
Is that just
White,
being scared of a doctor?
yes, it's irrational fears that you develop as a child. Okay. And so the deep insecure, because you can't feel safe or secure. And so the part of the survival, so your 3-year-old does not have any cognitive skills, it's irrational at best, had developed this fear of being vulnerable. Now, that's vulnerability. That's vulnerability. That's vulnerability. It knows what vulnerability is. It can go, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And it has to make sure it stays on this side and says that's it to protect itself. So it has to stay in the victim mode. And when it happens, I have to get in control of this. Then all of a sudden, we have the story of what you're telling yourself. As soon as I accept this, then they reject.
Interesting, because right now I just kind of feel blah, plain, or
It's
whatever.
because that's normal. You're
Because
not going, when normal feels fine. There is
I
not
feel
going to be
like
any
there's a
feeling.
block or something because it's like
Yes.
she's talking to me and I understand the words she's saying, but I can't see
Right.
around
Right. This
to.
your spirit going, what the hell? I'm inside the program. What the hell? You know that you don't want this program anymore because you're allowing this to come up. But your normal feels so good. Why would you change it? It's when you finally get enough's enough and you say, thank you, Spirit, for teaching me. Okay, because I said, can you heal the vulnerability? They go, not yet. You're not ready. I said, you want to heal the hate? Yeah, more so, because you know that this is going to happen again. You can focus on that. But then the little part of you that's so shy says, well, this is my social skills. I'm supposed to be shy. But now that I've all grown up, I'm not supposed to be shy. I can say what I want. But the little girl is saying, I have, irrational thing. And it's going to be your deep program. And we can't get to that until we look at, here we go again. Hate, drop this other shoe, drop. But can you take that safety blanket of hate down?
Ooh, does this go back to my aunt? Because I remember saying, um, why can't they just be adults and why can't we all just get along?
Right. Yes, it does hook back to
Like,
that because she's part of
because
the
she was the only person in the whole wide world. Because I would used to say, "Oh, I love God, I love everybody, da 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 da," da, but I hate Aunt so and so,
right, right,
as
right,
point delete.
right. But notice how comfortable that word is. She was supposed to be a reminder of a past life, okay? But
Uh-huh.
that comfortability, that normal, you're not going to change normal. You're not going to wake up consciously and become conscious and say, I'm going to change that because that's your normal. It won't have a feel. It'll just feel normal. And when the body says it's normal, even though it's like upset and your world's upset, you have chosen that to be your normal. Do you
So
understand?
my normal is surrounded by a program.
Yes. Your spirit's not in charge of your normal. The ego is, your program is. And so you're saying it's normal that this happens. This is why it becomes the language. This is why it becomes the same story in your matrix because it's so familiar. It's normal.
Because I've accepted it for so long that I just continue to
Yeah.
accept it.
Yeah. And so it has a victim mindset to some degree. It has, I have no control. The power is out there. What? And so it's breaking this down. But for you, you have to look at how hate is your normal.
And that's so funny because that's not me at all.
I know it's not, but it is still a part of the program that needs to be because you hate feeling vulnerable. So you can say you could work on vulnerability, but you aren't going to get anywhere. You have to heal how you have looked at the normal and says, I keep myself safe so I don't feel it. I have to hate. And I have to take offense and I have to say, this is what's happening. See, here we go again. And this continuing cycle. Okay. All right. So when you finally, and you're probably going to watch this a dozen
Oh
times,
yeah.
one of the things that you're going to do is R1S because you got to start seeing this as relationship. This is my relationship talk. This is what I expect in relationships because going to an interview, that's a relationship. Talking, protecting yourself, knowing that this is going to happen in the future, that is a relationship to you and yourself and to the world. And when you finally start to get through it, I want you to start to say, I'm done hiding in behind the mask. That's L2D because you keep putting this mask on, and that's that part you can look at and go, but I understand her, but I can't understand her. She's talking, but and notice how you can't crack the egg open yet. But it's so this is your safety blanket. I have to keep hiding that because
I am done hiding behind this mask. L2D.
yeah, but it's the temptation. Feel the temptation, feel the mask. But you can't get to the mask until you feel the temptation, which is your automatic response action that boom. Okay. And so what happens is that your triple warmer keeps going off. And so you're probably going to have to do R3S because you're going to gaslight and dress yourself and all of these things. And you won't realize the program that's talking to you in the back. So I would tell you to also do SP with it, that do this. this, and that is to use a magnet on the triple warmer on left, then right, and then rub 30 times, because the body's got to not keep going into that normal state of stress and having to see this. When you finally are going to get to the hate, when you're finally, like, I could just see, you're watching TV, your husband may say something like, I hate this, and you won't even realize you said it, but then your spirit's going to go, did you hear that? Did you? Yes. Then you can hold L1D and start breaking down the hate. But you say, thank you, Spirit, for showing me with grace and ease. And you're going to have different things happen so that it doesn't have to, you can learn it on a whisper. This is a deep one. It was good to see you, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you go ahead and rest, because I know you got to get up in a few hours to go to work. And it's a pleasure to serve
Yes,
you.
thank you very much.
All right. I got to figure out how to kick you out of here. I haven't done it in a while. Oh my God, it feels like months. There we go. All right. Bye, hon.
Bye.
That was a deep one, people. That was a beautiful one. Oops, there goes my thing dropping off the. Let's see, do I got them all charging properly? Not all, but that's no big deal. No big deal. What did we hear? What did we learn? Hi, let's see. Rebecca says the video kept cutting out the other day, and I was responding to other. That's why I didn't resonate. I'm not resonating myself with that. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah, that was a powerful healing. Yes, Robin says, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. Okay. And I don't know, I bumped this. That's why it's crooked. My God, that's awful. Oh, there goes my phone. Oops, there goes the. Oh, my God. Good one, Bryn. Well. Okay, people. I'm sweating now. I'm sweating. Oh, I'll turn that off. Go the other way. There we go. Okay. Now, if anybody's here that is new and wants a reading, and I never give anyone before, I can give you a quick reading, or I can give you a card, however you choose to do it. Some people aren't quite ready to go as deep. That's okay. It's okay. But I like how my tribal members are going, I get that. You can feel them seeing the different perspectives and understanding certain things. This was definitely a deep one, a very important one. And I'm going to walk away with some healing on that one myself. So before, yes, okay, good. Okay, I'm going to be right back. And I drank so much water. I'll be right back. Never mind. Ooh. Okay, thanks for waiting. All right. Oh. So part of the consciousness we have shifted. And what that is that the more that we consciously begin to become conscious and use our gift of awareness to go, I want to change that normal. I want to cash it in. I'm done. I want my life force back. I want to create differently. More of the Christ consciousness. And this isn't about just Jesus. This is about Christ. It is about that consciousness. And that means you're allowing more love in. And that means to care about yourself, care about other people. And it isn't about, I need to shake the jar, watch people fight. I got to play these games, or we got to take divide, or we have to have power and control. That's not going to be your desire anymore, because your soul is come in on such a deep level, and your soul is saying, you got the urge now. We're going to communicate, and we're going to take it to the next level. Okay. Okay. All right, double checking. And I'm just going to go get Amy now. As soon as I find the thingy jiggy. There we go. She'll be here with us in just a moment or two. There we go. And anything that I've said in chat, I've deleted so that your information gets to stay safe and while the next person comes in. Okay, just so you know. It's all good. Here she comes. Now, she had some shoulder surgery. Say that again and again. Shoulder surgery. Hi, how are you? Elephant cat, that's cute.
I'm itchy.
It's,
It itches.
that's good. Healing, healing.
Yep,
how many days is now since you've had your
5 days.
Gosh, that went fast. You survived 100% for 5 days in a row. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Are you proud of yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many things that I've learned that I can do left-handed. There's certain things that I can still do with my right hand. Like I can still eat. I can use my arm up to my elbow. I just can't, do
Right.
anything like that yet. I'll be in the sling for 6 weeks.
Okay. And but it was easier than you thought.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, when you go through the live experience and everything's great, but she has something to compare it to, and that is the old parameter of when she would have something that was wrong with her, the people that were in her space, the way that the consciousness said, this is how I have to show up in a program, this is my normal, this is how I'm supposed to feel, this is how I'm supposed to react, this is how I'm supposed to expect. And you've done a lot of healing since then. And can you look back at that and go, wow, I don't have to.
Yeah. The last surgery that I had was over 30 years ago, besides this one. And then I wasn't able to do anything for myself because my mom made sure that everything was done for me.
Right.
And this time around, I've pretty much done everything on my own, except for drive there and home.
So you didn't beg for it. You weren't afraid. So you didn't beg for help from anybody. Yes or no?
No.
Did you expect people to be there? Yes or no?
No, I didn't.
No. And were you willing to do certain things for yourself, by yourself, and cry about it? Yes. Well, hold on. It's yes, yes, yes. But would you cry about it because you had to do it alone?
No, I didn't do that now.
Right. But now, see, she knows it in the past that was the normal.
That was normal in the past. It
So
was
you're like,
expecting them to be there for you. And I mean, like the day after surgery, the neighbor that brought me up for surgery and brought me home had made this big casserole and brought over some for me, which I got 3 meals out of it.
oh wow.
And so I brought those dishes back yesterday morning, and she was in the process of starting to make breakfast, and she said, "You want to have pancakes with us?" And so I had pancakes.
So the thing is that you didn't orchestrate it. You didn't go, oh, it's breakfast time. If I make it, you didn't have to do any of that. It was just, okay, I'm going to return these dishes. You go over there and it's like breakfast and you're like, stay. And then again, it was like, wow, but I didn't intend to this. I didn't, so you didn't have to play games. You didn't have to be in
Yeah.
worry and fear.
Mm-mm.
See, and I want you to notice how much your growth is.
I've amazed myself in the last 5 days.
Yeah, and it's gone so quick. It is
It
gone.
has.
There goes my TikTok. Okay.
It has. The first day, I mean, the first 2 days I pretty much slept on and off all day. I never really slept all night long, but it was like an hour here, an hour there, awake an hour. So, but then that third night, I started sleeping through the night, 6 hours at a time.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, and again, there's no shame into taking medicine, and but
Mm.
you were able to say, okay, what are my needs, and I can provide those needs, and instead of going, I wish that somebody would take care of me. You didn't go into the fear. You didn't go into the complaining. Can you see how you would have been? Again, I want people to hear this. There's nothing wrong with it, but it makes you stay a victim, and it makes you stay in the nocebo effect, in the negative aspects and with negative results. So you are alone.
Hmm.
And did you cry and go, oh my God, I hate doing this alone. I don't want to do this by myself. I just wish somebody to take care of me. And did and you dread and have any of these thoughts?
No, I
Would you
didn't.
have in the
I
past?
would have, absolutely.
What changed?
Um, the healing, the helping the littles understand that it's not the end of the world. Yes, it's a limitation at the moment. It's just a blip in time where I have to learn how to do things differently.
And also notice that you chose to be alone, even though you want people around, but you chose to be alone because you just didn't want the people that were supposed to be in your space. So you got a certain amount of normalcy of, yeah, you just stay over there.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. And when I, need that communication with people or being in someone's space, I think it was like the third day, I walked across the street to one of my mom's best friends
Mhm.
who her husband has the same birthday as you do. But anyway, um, I walked over and she had made pineapple crumble or like a pineapple crisp.
Oh,
Oh my
ooh,
gosh. Was
ooh,
that
pineapple.
good?
Yeah.
And, I just needed to get out of the house and not go for a walk, but just be with people for a minute. It was like maybe 20 minutes that I was there. I'm
Well,
like,
people are very proud of you. You have April Lynn and Robin, and they're just like, that's awesome. They're proud of you. See, so now you're a catalog that if they had to do something alone, that yeah, it
mhm,
can be done. It's like when you believe you can't do something and you don't see another person like you doing it, then you really believe you don't do it. That's another part of how consciousness is learning to become aware that, oh, wait a minute, I saw someone do it, whereas I was told I couldn't do it or I'm not supposed to do it, but yet I'm watching somebody do it. That's going to give me a new perception that I can do it. Okay.
mhm,
But notice that you moved away from victim, moved away from a lack, move away from fear, moved away from the negative, and you decided to stay connected to your spirit. And it caused you to do what? It caused you to be in harmony.
mhm. Yeah. I
Now, do you
mean,
like the cup of peace more than hell?
oh, absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely. And it's just been this amazing journey, and I've been documenting on TikTok every day,
Oh,
look for the joy in the day.
exactly.
Even though, it may like some people would think this was the end of the world. Having to
Correct.
learn how to do everything left-handed or right-handed, depending on what your dominant hand is, it's not that scary. It really isn't.
Yeah, Yeah. And when you have somebody around, like when I broke my fingers, I had to do it alone, but yet I didn't have to do it alone because he was here. But I could also see him going, well, he's here. He needs to help me. And it was like, no, this is very childish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would heal that out, or being the child, or, my husband, he constantly was showing me love. The moment that I had broke my fingers, I had broke my glasses. Because when my face hit the cement wall, or the brick, uh, whatever, the planter box, the glass got stuck into my, stuck right in there. And then when we popped that out, my frames were bent and broke. And so he left me there and says, you're going to be okay. He immediately went to, which was right across the street, basically. And he walked in and he says, okay, my wife has been in he explained it. And they took the frame that was the sample frame, and then they swapped out my lenses because they weren't broke. It's just, the lens itself. And he came back like lickety split, and I could see again.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm like, wow, I've never had anybody show up that way. So I had to have shifted something in my inner world to see love care for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you can feel the difference in love and
Oh,
care.
yeah. Yeah.
Whereas you're pathetic before, and we have to take care of you, and all of this, and da 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 da, or over pampering and over loving and all.
Mm-hmm.
But what made that difference between that love and this love?
That it's not coerced.
Oh, very good. Very good.
It's not I'm not playing the victim. I'm not saying you have to show up to me this way.
Okay, good. Now, also, what about feeling sorry for me? Where did that go?
I didn't even dawn on me. I mean, I know there are people that probably do, but I can drive, I can eat,
Didn't you
I
have that
can
before? People feel sorry for me?
when I had my first two surgeries, yeah.
And you must have healed something out to the point you didn't even know it was gone.
Yeah, because it's that victim that having to it's having to play the victim card for their comfort.
Explain a little further. Somebody just went, what?
So we have been so programmed over time that when we have a surgery or break a limb or do something like that, it's programmed into people to feel sorry for someone who has a limitation for that
Right,
time being.
right. And here's the thing, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's an awesome movie. It was a real life event that happened to this guy. And anyway, he was fine, and then he took a dive off the diving board, and well, it wasn't a diving board. He just dived off the dock where he shouldn't have, and he hit his head on a rock, causing himself to be quadriplegic. Or well, he was paralyzed, but I think he had use of one arm. I think it was.
Hmm.
Anyways, he hired a bunch of people, and they catered to his needs. And then he hired this Russian woman that came in, and she was like, "Do it yourself." And here's a board. We're going to give you all the tools you need, but you got to learn to do it yourself. You got to learn to want to live. And all the other caregivers were very caring and loving. And he would get so pissed off. And then finally he realized that I can't do this.
Hmm.
I can get myself onto the toilet and off the toilet. I can get myself into the bath and out of the bath. I can do this. But he had the belief that he couldn't. And
Hmm.
she says, no, you need that back.
Yeah.
And she made him look like she was rude and crude, but no, she knew he was capable of it. And you're not doing the victim mindset. You're not doing any of these things. So that's the beauty of your growth. Is it's not that you have to do it alone, or you got to learn to do it alone. There's no hate with it. Do you understand?
Yeah, there is no hate with it.
And that's the beautiful part. So thank you for coming on. And now you've paid. So how can I help you?
Dig in.
Dig in. Well, you got lots of things that you got going on, but I'm asking spirit. The weird part is that there's some invading energies, but they're telling me to pick up a card. And I'm like, really? And they said, am I going to understand it? Again, some people know cards, and I'm supposed to just look at something in particular. And they said they want me to address walking away. I says, okay, let's put that in her language because this is your deck. And they said, okay, we can do that. And they said 2 cards will be involved in this. Time to get out of your head and into your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is compassion for yourself and others. So let's take this and say, well, why would these cards about walking away? And they said, well, she would never be able to walk away before because she always felt deficient. And I said, oh, do tell about the walking away. Well, when 4 years old, she should have walked away, but she played the victim. Okay, so she didn't walk away from it. She wanted the attention, the love, all of it, but she wasn't getting it. And she saw that someone took it. She saw, and I said, does this have to do with jealousy? Yes. And in relationships, she's supposed to think that something's wrong with her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I said, so what was she supposed to walk away from? Well, she was supposed to walk away from, and they said, well, let me see if I can do this. She needed to become, so you would have been irrational at best. So you would have been becoming more self-conscious of people looking at you, but yet you weren't. So you couldn't really do the right thing around 4. But there was a part of you that was so deeply conditioned that you are incompatible to do it yourself.
Oh, it's with bloody nose.
I'm saying yes. Okay, so, but you have to walk away from being conditioned. Okay. I said, so why these other 2 cards? Well, if she starts having compassion for herself and she learns to have a heart-brain coherence, kind of like she did with when she did this operation, then walking away from what you called your life is not going to be a problem. So don't overthink it. Put your heart and brain back into it. Let spirit guide. That's obviously enough. I said, okay, what else? And they said, well, there's the self-soothing issue she has. They said, well, when she's about 5 years old, towards herself, how she would self-soothe would be about displaying the deficiency to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
I said, tell me more. And then all of a sudden it was, well, I can't really behave a certain way. So I'm expected that I have to behave this way because they still think there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't communicate that way. They won't allow me to communicate. So I still got to get my needs met. And this is, I said, so it has to do with safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity. It's about my freedom. In order for me to get a certain amount of freedom, I have to do, and this said installs by parents. The installs was that you have to have something wrong with you. You have to be in decomp mode. And of course, monkey see, monkey do. This is, if they have anxiety, there's something wrong with her, then they can show the same amount of love as they showed your brother that had that heart condition.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you held such great contempt. Now, this is a part of you that you're thinking, but I would never have contempt for my brother. You all have always a lot of a range of emotions when you're a kid, but there's this contempt. So it's important to begin. Let me just get the right screen here. So I got you still present. There you are. And again, this has got to be a course at some point. So when you look up what contempt means, what do you think contempt means? Don't look it up.
Contempt means having disdain for someone, having like they're less than.
All right. So feeling that a person or a thing is worthless, that's beneath them. I don't even consider that. Okay, you have to disengage empathy and love. I can't consider this. I just can't. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that you feel they feel this thing is worthless. It's just I can't even consider. You're beneath consideration. I have really a problem over here. I can't have time to give you any other. And then you dislike. I don't like when they behave that way. So a certain part of their behavior, not all of them, but a certain. I don't like when they behave that way. And so you have no respect. I just saw what you did to get mom's attention, and that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah.
dislike. And so there will be this part. I'm smart, you're not. There's seeing another person is like it's just unfair. They get this treatment. And so they really want you to pay attention to that your child part of you, that irrational part of you could not get that freedom or get that love or get that attention or get that, hey, mom's going to let me, mom goes to everybody else's sport, mom's got, or dad, whatever, all of this. Mm-hmm. So you have this part of you that has to chase it down, and you're never going to get it. In your mind, you're never going to get it. Now, the reason they're going there is because I'm going to have to behave this way for the rest of my life, and I don't want to. Because you have to be less than in order to get that particular part of your freedom. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you have invading energy constantly coming in your space. That was the very first thing they said is invading energy before I pulled the card. So it is lofty energy, whether it's good, bad, or negative. Let's find out what's the biggest thing. When lofty energy comes in, I can't self-soothe. When you have energy that is hysterical, which is a form of lofty, I can't self-soothe. And when you have arrogant people that come present, now here's the thing that I need you to listen to on the word arrogance, okay? So we have to use the word arrogant, and it is having or revealing an exaggerated set importance of self, right? But it's also the ability. So let's say you know how to do the dishes and you know how to put them away and all of this, and they come along and they do it better. Or they see that you didn't do it right, so they will do it for you. Everyday house cleaning. So they believe they can do it better than you. And you're going, how arrogant of you. Without realizing they have this sense that their ability to do it is better. And then the arrogant, you're just so damn arrogant. Okay, so you're going to have a certain amount of contempt. Now, some people may come in and help you, but you're like, I can do it myself. Okay, so you've had to put on a behavior that does not fit you anymore. It's like you outgrew a bunch of your clothes and had to give them away. So something that's your normal no longer really fits. You have to do what April did, and that is to see what you can't see. So again, I'm going to have to behave a certain way. And in this case, it is when you're doing something and somebody will come along and do it, and it looks like they're redoing it. It reminds me of how much your mother would do what?
She would come behind me and re-vacuum, redust, redo whatever I did because it was never good enough.
That's what you thought. It wasn't to her standards before she would go crazy. So she would have to, and again, it was not that it was not, you weren't good enough or that what you did wasn't good enough. That's what you told yourself. So then you begin to think something's wrong with you. And then when you go to do something in front of somebody, you're going to F it up.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then you're going to go in your head and you're going to think something's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody's learning something and you've already been there and done that, you got to not micromanage. You have to actually let them screw up. And so they're going to become very insecure in front of you. So you become very insecure in front of people and you're going to be afraid that you're going to mess it up. Okay. So as you start to do it, you're fumbling and you're going to fail to some degree because I feel like you can feel their invading energy of judging. Even if they're not judging you. Here's the trick though. Here's the thing. Like if you're a helper, let's say you're learning to drive stick over here. Okay? Now, let's say you're going to learn to drive my car. And my car it doesn't have a key. You just push the button and it starts up and then you have to so for me, going from stick shift on the right side and I had to learn to do it over here on the left. And then now I don't have to use my both feet to drive and my left. I have to put my left hand quietly aside, my left leg quietly aside, and just operate my vehicle this way. Now you have to put it in, when you start it, you have to put your foot on the brake, push the button, and then you can put it in reverse or drive, whatever you need to do. But when you go to stop it, you have to put it in gear or put it in park, then shut it off. Now, you probably won't be a problem with you because in your mind, well, that's what I have to do with my automatic car anyway.
Except I've got a key.
Exactly. So at first, your brain that knows routinely how to do things is going to be like, what? But if your mother was sitting in the car and you, let's say, did something out of order, she comes in and, well, no, and then she'll put it in reverse for you. And so you're like, I can do that. Or what, is something wrong with me? Okay, am I going crazy? Because you're getting older now and you're like, oh my God, am I going senile? The part of you is like going, why are you doing? And then you feel like that person's being very arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'd be like, well, Brenda, you're being arrogant. Your abilities of doing it better than I can. And it's like, well, no, you put it into, you have to put it in reverse, not drive. We don't want to hit the brick wall.
No, no, not really.
So there is a certain, but the child part of you, I never turned the timer on. Oh, well, you're lucky, huh? But the child part of you is saying towards yourself, similar to what's going on with Miss April there, towards yourself, what? A great amount of anxiety.
Oh, that's been coming up the last couple of days. Yeah.
Okay. And this anxiety is this invading energy. Now, I'm with you. I'm not judging it, but I don't want to hit this wall. So I may step in.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody teach you how to drive?
Guy across the street. Yeah.
And did he thought you were the greatest driver, or was he also having to correct you? And
He was the driver's ed. I mean, Dad taught me to drive, and we were going to a bigger town where they had 4 lanes. And on the way over there, we were going around this curve called Dead Man's Curve. And there was a cat that ran across the road, and one of the girls in the back seat screamed, "Cat, cat, cat." And Amy slammed on the brakes, did a 360 on the road. I still haven't
whoa.
let that down after what, 40 years?
Okay. So it is in the skills of relearning. And at the same time, I remember when I got the car. So again, I had learned how to do stick with my right hand in America. And then I had learned how to do stick with my left hand in Australia. And then we got this car and we have to test drive it. But my brain is still doing stick shift. And I had to do it in my head that no, don't even apply. There's no clutch. So my left foot would like, I got to protect us because as I'm driving the car, the owner, the dealership, he's sitting there and he said something. And then it was because I'm testing out because man, it's a hybrid, so it has a different feel when it's electric versus gas when you put on the pedal and all of that, and plus when you got good brakes and everything's working, it's a whole different feel. So he said something, and I slowed down because I thought he wanted me to turn there, but the way he said it, my left foot came over and slant and touched the brake. Well, it was looking for the clutch, and so we went. I mean, it has made brakes. Everything, because my husband had to sit in the back, right? So everything that he had put down as he's sitting there flew underneath, fell down and flew up underneath the. My husband's like going, "Oh wow, crap! There goes everything," And then the guy made a comment, and me and my husband both realized that he made a certain kind of comment because I'm a female driver, and I'm like, okay, whatever, but I need to redo this. I have in my head, I know I'm going to be nervous now, and now he's made that comment, and I still have to go around the block and come back on a major highway there, and it's like, so. Other people, it was like a part of him, and then the judgment, and then what do? We just take the energy in, we become something else, and then we need that space to develop how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when you're not in that field, so you have to. There's a part of you that knows, and I think that okay. I'm not going to say this out loud. We got to find the chat button here. Whether it is that have an exaggerations of their ability and and their importance. So they look at you, they really don't think that you can do it. So this is why your vocation that you had, you did it. You found the money, you traveled, you did it safely, you made it back, you did all that, and they're all like, you can't do that, because they still have you as that little girl that's, you can't do that. Or their mindset, they can't see that you've grown.
No, they can't.
You're stuck in a certain time warp. So you're going to have to make sure you're in a heart-brain coherence when you begin to walk away. But when people tell you that, no, you need to do it now, no, you're in a preparation state. And when you work with spirit, you will feel your path switchings and doing these things. You don't be controlled by those emotions, by other people's belief systems. And so what they're telling me about you is that you do not have to be in sorrow. Okay? When that energy comes in, you don't have to go into the pattern of that scalar field of having to show up or feel attacked or any of these things. The reason they use sorrow is because it's a habit when people's energies invade your space. But I don't know if it's the actual feel of sorrow or your body just goes into the condition of feeling.
My body goes into the, oh, that makes a lot of sense. What I texted you this morning about like when I wake up from a nap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My body goes into this feeling of I'm going to get in trouble.
Yes, yes, yes,
yes. Took time.
Yes. So they said that for you to heal that would be you're doing a lot of wood. They're burning up your wood. So there's two things. You're still breaking it apart. That's for one. And we've kind of run out of time. But the thing is that there's a hidden story that you're starting to reveal itself. And so the body says, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to freak out. I would definitely say that's L2D. But when you start to exert your power, that makes sense. So what I just wrote, as soon as you start to walk away or start using your power to do what you want to do, you're going to have those people see you stuck in this particular time. So I don't know what age you are now, but they got you at a very young age. Different people have you at very different ages and a certain amount of beliefs that was given to them based on storytelling. And it's important people hear this. You are responsible and will be accountable for what comes out of your mouth. So when I was my first marriage, I lived 2.5 hours away, and I wouldn't be treated so nicely. And so I would then call my mother, and the phone prices were expensive, so I could only afford so much, like one phone call a month. And I didn't have any healing tools. I was just learning. And I would call home, and then I would talk to my mother, and my mother would only hear worry and fear and anything bad. So I trained her to build a picture of my husband that she didn't even know about, really. She didn't, it was like I got married and moved away. So my mother is sitting there stewing and brewing about this person. So when, I didn't know this. And so now you're talking about 6 months, and I'm going to bring her up for Christmas. I'm going to go pick her up. I'm going to bring her back. We're going to have Christmas at my house with my husband. And it was horrifying because the evilness, the anger, you hurt my baby, And I was like, why are you doing this? And then I realized it was my fault. She only heard the negative. She never heard any good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be accountable for what picture I helped create. So when people get those pictures in their head, they can't stop looking at it. So everything that was told to them from other people about you, they don't really know who you are.
Mm-mm.
And if you followed along and said and did what everybody said, then they'll never know who you are. Even when you begin to change and you've changed, they can't see the change because it's not built into how they need to see you. They just know you changed, you pissed me off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you didn't change, you're always the same. And these pictures that people have in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the body is saying, I am ready to not keep score anymore. I want this gone. But the body is saying, I'm bringing up some hidden stories because you're ready to start dealing with them more. But it has to do with this invading energy and how you have to respond in that scalar field, how you're supposed to show up. If you can begin to pay attention to that and say, hang on, I don't want to, but I can feel that, I can measure it, and I can heal it out. And when
Mm-hmm.
you start to do that, then all of a sudden you're going to change your trajectory, which is that particular timeline, close stuff down. You're going to change these pictures, but you got to be okay with losing some of your family and friends because they can't see you any other way than this. And instead of harboring resentment or revenge or this, or you have to take your power off it so that you can create the closure you need. So
Mm-hmm.
you're ready to say, yeah, I don't have to be controlled by this.
Yeah.
So that means you also have to heal out how you predict they're going to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're going to walk away from any of this, you're going to have to understand that there's a certain amount when you start to exert your power, there's going to be some hidden stories that you had to hide your power. You had to behave a certain way and hide that power because it didn't work. But now it's going to have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Man, that just looks, I see a little bruising now, but man, that just,
It's not bad. The biggest bruise is my hand.
oh,
And
geez,
they
yeah.
couldn't find an IV there, so they put it here, and that's almost already gone.
Excellent, excellent. So how many markings did you get?
I got 4. I got 2 here, 1 here, and then
Here,
almost
okay.
in the
Oh,
back.
very good, very good.
And there's no swelling. And I
Excellent.
believe the reason is I put a magnet up here
Yes.
and then a magnet in my sling.
That really is good if you have broken bones. But it's good to know that you have an example of how you're using it with surgery, and because we're
Yeah, and I haven't
electromagnetic beings.
there has been no swelling in my hand, my arm.
Yeah, it's not as an invasive because it's a keyhole surgery, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
it's amazing how they've advanced advanced. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you in tribal tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited that, let me ask you before I go, or before you go, how did today's topic, did any of it make sense?
It did. It made sense. It's bringing together more of the pieces that I've been seeing these last 5 days.
Did having these help you see it better?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't necessarily see which mindset we're in when
Correct.
we're in our ego. We sometimes think we're in our spirit mindset, not
Yes.
realizing that we could be even in our survival mindset, not even our ego.
Exactly, exactly. And that's where you as a spirit shows up, and you use that gift of awareness to hear your gestures or your tone or your
Hmm.
words or your responses or your maneuvers. And again, part of that conscious leveling up or waking up is not wanting to use maneuvers, not to do these play games. And you're like, but yeah, but that's life. But what kind of quality of life does that give you? And you will hear me often say, I won't play that.
Yeah, there's things that I saw when I was over having breakfast yesterday. The gameplay, I could see it.
Yes. And noticing that energy exchange, and you can see how in the scalar field, this person will act this way, this person will automatically
Hmm.
do this. And you can see who's the leading and who's pulling and who's pushing, and you can
Yep.
see those that are hurt. And you're doing it not through judgment, but through discernment. And then when you look at that and you say, well, that's my catalog of life, yes or no? So I want to do that.
I don't want to do that, no. And it was actually fun to see it because I could see it.
Yeah, it's very enlightening.
Hmm.
And you're sitting there going, whoa, how, wow, I can't
Yeah.
say no anymore, because now it's like you literally can watch and almost
Hmm.
predict based on how they're talking, where they're aiming or what they're taking or what, and you're like, oh, somebody has to dim their light so the other person can shine. So
Hmm.
wait till you get to the stage where it's like, well, how am I supposed to show up? Because you're not that anymore. You're this, but
Hmm.
but a person may need you to be that. So it's like, well, how do I become that without losing this? And you'll have to relearning of social skills. But it is very unique. So
It
yes,
is.
this is where we're at right now as far as our consciousness. We're waking up, and now we can describe a little bit more about why we're waking up and how we're waking up.
Hmm.
Thank you for coming on this journey with me, and we will see you tomorrow in Tribal, okay?
Okay, love you.
Right. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Um, I'm hoping you guys enjoying today's program. If you would like a quick card, I can whip out a quick card. If you want a read and I've never read you before, I'll give you a free one. If you want to pay, this is the time now before we go any further. Um, but at the same time, you guys are getting this. I know you are, because the more dedicated you become, the more dedicated you become with your soul's urge, you're going to make a big difference, a big impact on your world. Okay, you literally can make a big impact. Is that Nita? Hey, um, she's a birthday girl too. Let's see how we're doing. All right. Again, with the delays, I will just wait. So me and my husband, we've decided that we want to enjoy life every day, and we choose to wake up with a smile. We choose to look at each other and realize that um, our importance is to be in sync, and it's not about compromise. Our relationship is not about compromise. And if you feel you have to compromise, go heal your stuff. Because if you have to compromise, then you're not living your best life. Now, there is about growth and there is about sharing. It helps you see deeper. Exactly. Autumn, are you still here? Because I can't remember if I gave a card to you. I can give you a card. Double checking. Okay, I believe that we're good. The 100 monkey theory has not happened yet. You're going to see, when it does, you're going to see the whole world just start to really shift. But we have to go through these stages of awakening. More people are going to go, oh, I don't want to live that way. Oh, I want to do this. Again, returning to love means you have to bring that love back in, but you have to change those programs, those normals, because those normals you are in charge of. And when you begin to hear that they're your normal and you're comfortable with it, then you can't sit there and say, well, I don't like my life or I don't this and that. You can look at it. So for me, it's like one that I've been working on for the past month and a half is the joy, the love, that's attached to things. Why would you need to heal out love and joy? So I'm watching an old comedy show, and well, it's not that old. But what it was based on the fact that this person's running across, going to go tell this other person. So first they said, look, I can't date you. It just isn't right. I'm not really into you. And this other person was crushed. And so then they started to feel bad because the person they had to tell that to was feeling bad. And so they started to run over there and go, I got to fix this. And this other guy said, stop. Don't go over there and make it worse for them because it makes you feel better because you say you have to fix this. You're only trying to make yourself feel better. Now, he did it over the intercom in a store, and a lady that was picking up some sweets and croissants and other things because it's going to make her feel good. She heard what he said and she put it back. She's like, I know I don't need these things. They're going to hurt me. And I don't need to get them just because they make me feel good. So when I go to the store and I go shopping and it's like, okay, I'm going to get this, this, and this, and this. This is not just products, but food. Do I really need to? Because it makes me feel good? Because I can? Just a second on them. Then it's like I had to heal out. Oh, that desire of, oh, that feels good. I'm going to pick this up, buy this. It doesn't help you stay within your budget. It doesn't help to stay within your weight limit. You know, and you're not. And the discipline isn't. Oh, I have to put it back and then just feel bad about myself. You don't have to discipline yourself. There's awakening. So if you at a state where you feel like you got to have it because it's going to make you joyful, heal the joy out. And when you do, if you really are supposed to have it, it will become yours. It won't have to have an effect, a side effect, like putting on weight. Okay, so Miss Autumn, Spirit says, Spirit says that it's a comment was filtered. Okay. Oh, interesting. Your card comes up and it says deceit. That's in reverse. So it's like I could do this. Let me go a little bit further. So there's some deceit going on. And as I do this, I'll get you one more card and it says, oh, these two are stuck together. Well, okay. So we have something to do with indecisiveness and journey. Now the journey is up. So the journey is on a stop. Okay. Because you're indecisive, but there is something to do with some deceit. So if I ask Spirit, give me more information, they said that there's a part of you that feels like you got to overcompensate. So you're deceiving yourself with these particular emotions that I have to overcompensate because I've done something wrong. Now, this is part of what I was going to say earlier for a few people is that they will judge themselves. Oh, I shouldn't have typed that. I shouldn't have done that They don't like me. I'm judging this moment. I didn't get this reaction. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. And there's a certain amount of deceit that you're doing to yourself to keep you in a line to being a good girl. So you're going to have to start doing some R1D. Okay. Right wrist, first position deep. Oh, then yes, you too. If it resonates with you, then you too. Because you gotta change that normal. You gotta not want to see it. You gotta want to see it, and you have to be okay that when you're looking and you don't see it, you don't judge it. You're going to know that this is it. But you have to be patient. You can't judge that journey. Okay, you can understand that. Okay, excellent. All right. I'm going to double check again, but I think we're good. I think we're ready to go. Does Robin would like a card? And I'm looking around. I think nope. So I'm going to close down this one because nobody's in there. And I'm just going to hang this up and end that one now. And, oh, I lost Robin. You're welcome. Over here. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Let me put this deck back. What do I do with it? And then put those back. You sent me something. Hold on. I got to figure out what this is. Yes. Okay. Got it. All right. Oh, okay. So not am I picking a card. It's funny is that I hear birds, but I wanted to say I hear butterflies. And I don't understand it. I just know I see some flapping of the wings. The card I'm getting has to do with Angel of Balance, but it's out. So where is there's no harmony? Where is the balance? So feeling that the protection or the love or something that was there to help you stay balanced, do you feel it's missing? And the reason I say that is because they're saying that you're working on your sixth chakra right now. And if you're not aware of it, then you won't know. Like, so you're going to have to probably call in some, just so you can see the card. Call the sixth chakra. So who do you got to call in? What dragon, what angel, whatever. But you're working on that sixth chakra. And if you're not realizing that you're out of balance, they said it's about your emotions. So you are going from the range of feeling happy, feeling anything negative, so that you are changing the boundaries. So I'm hearing that there is a habit that you're doing that gives you great joy, but there's a part of you in your body that's out of balance. Says, no, it doesn't. I don't know what that is. So you may or may, I hope so that you do, but it says R1D. So there's right wrist, first position deep. You have to heal out the inner joy. It's not physical. It's not even mental or emotional. There's okay. So the brain said I had to help you. I had to help you. What age are you referring to? There's something about 33. So like 33, I had to help you to solve. And so you would have had to reach out to grab something and to use it so that it solved it. So like the only way I can explain it is my own example is that when I was 16 and my boyfriend died, I could not resolve. I could not process. It was just, it was just going on to be in hell, and I couldn't make it stop. I couldn't make the picture stop. I couldn't make the sound, everything. And then all of a sudden it was my body that reached out. And then when my friend said, "Do you want a cigarette?" I grabbed it without even saying anything because I'm just beyond, I can't process. And that first hit was my brain said, "Oh, that, whew," so it's always preserving. It's always preserving. And so in order for me to get out of stress so I can start to get healthy again, my body said, okay, since you can't process, I'm going to process. So every time I took a hit was, oh, it feels, safe, warm, everything's great. And then as soon as it's over, the hell was back. And so then I take another hit. So this process, and then eventually I end up healing the hells so that I don't have to smoke. But there's this process that you've grown to love it. So that was the other thing, because it's like, well, I don't want to. And then it's like, no, why? And it's like, the main thing was that why I had convinced myself to find it was because it grounded me. And so I'm like, so do I know what grounding feels like without it? And at the time it was no. But in relationships, I would become ungrounded in relationships. By myself, I was fine. But it was in relationships. And because of that, there was a belief system in me that I didn't want to be mean, to be dominant, to be emotionally distressed. I didn't want that. And so it's not that I became passive as much as it was a way for me to help keep peace in relationships. I don't know if I explained that right or not, but so my brain says, get you to do something. We're going to curb that. We're going to fix that, change that, grow here. But it didn't grow. You just happened to fill in the spaces around you. Anyways, long story short, they want you to do R1D. How did one card... It doesn't matter. I think that's funny. And I've lost my page. Hold on. Oh, I got it. Thank you for a great show, for being here. Your dedication to your soul is marvelous. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to start. You're welcome. Hopefully it makes sense to you. And we'll see you tomorrow in Tribe. And I'm happy to... I love Tribal. Okay, let's see. Start signing off. Thank you, Spirit. Hashtag resolve to evolve. Hashtag 143. Exactly. Hashtag heal instead of deal. Hashtag grow. Because you're ready. You're ready. You really are. Hashtag thank you, Spirit. And there's more hashtags, but you don't need me to recite them. If you do, go watch more videos. But if you would like to re-listen to any of this, go over to YouTube and subscribe. Help a gal out here. No. If you would like to see this movement and you like this content, then, let me know. Let me see how that support goes, how that is going. I'm having trouble signing off. Why am I having trouble signing? Oh, okay. You're already blessed and you're whole. So stay blessed and happy healing.